It is Tuesday, January 30th, and today I'm still wondering about those two critical decisions Lions coach Dan Campbell made in the second half Sunday in the game against the Niners. And I'm wondering even more if we simply haven't gone stat crazy in sports.
And now, a word from our title sponsor.
Are all financial advisors fiduciaries? Fewer than you think. Not knowing could reduce your lifestyle. Hi, I'm Mitch Kramer, founder and CEO of Fluent Financial. A fiduciary is a regulatory term to reduce conflicts of interest in wealth management. A fiduciary always works in your best interest. A non-fiduciary advisor might put their compensation or company ahead of yours. At Fluent Financial, we are certified financial planners acting as fiduciary advisors. To learn more, go to fluentfinancial.com or Fluent Financial's YouTube channel.
What's damaged your roof? Hail, water, wind, maybe just age. Oh Hail Roofing is where to turn. They've provided the best options, advice, and solutions, be it residential or commercial. For more than a decade now, you can trust Oh Hail to restore your property expertly. Oh Hail. That's OHHHAIL. OHail.com. With seasonings, there seem to be so many, and then they just sit in your spice cabinet forever. That's not true of Goodness Steak seasoning. I know the name steak suggests that it's very good on steak, which it is, but Goodness Steak seasoning is so versatile. Use it on veggies, burgers, soups, even popcorn. Get it by going to the website bringthetasty.com. Goodness, this seasoning is good. In Sunday's NFC Championship game, Detroit roared out to a 24-7 halftime lead. The San Francisco crowd, and I think the Niners themselves, were stunned. Stunned. I know I was stunned watching that first half. I could have never imagined a 17-point Detroit lead. But the Niners would roar back to win it 34-31 in one of our most classic playoff games. And it would propel San Francisco into the Super Bowl. But as it unfolded in the second half, the Detroit coach Dan Campbell made two impactful decisions. First, in the middle of the third quarter, as the Niners had slightly narrowed the Detroit lead to 24-10, Campbell faced a 4th and 2 situation at the San Francisco 28-yard line. Kick a 45-yard field goal to go back up 17, or go for it. Campbell went for it and failed. And then in the fourth quarter, now trailing 27-24, he reached the San Francisco 30-yard line. 4th down and 3. A field goal ties the game at 27-27. Again, Campbell passes on the field goal and goes for it and fails. On Monday's podcast, if you remember it, I was critical of Dan Campbell for those decisions. And I stand by that. I thought those decisions were unwise. Had his options worked, people would have been all over him, showering him with credits and flowers. But they didn't work. So, a person like me sits here and is critical of them. Now, the defenders of Dan Campbell will point to his aggressiveness and that's his nature. That's very true. But that does not factor in the fact that in every situation, a decision must be made. And aggressiveness cannot be a one-size-fits-all strategy. Now, Campbell almost tearfully defended his decisions and told us that if he had it to do all over again, he'd do it exactly the same way. I wonder if that's true. We're never going to know that, because coaches don't go out and tell us stuff like that. And there'll be no second guessing from the Lions locker room, because everybody in there loves Dan Campbell and loves what he has done for them and take them into major contention in the NFL. But again, decisions must be weighed by considering all the circumstances. Which brings us to a larger question. Are we being buried in an avalanche of stats, many of them just about as useless as you can imagine? Now, hey, those of you who know me know that in my life, I have loved statistics. As a sports fan, a sports announcer, a talk show host, I think good, solid investigation statistically can help tell us things about players and fans. But so many other of the stats, I'm sorry, they seem like poppycock to me. And ESPN, the creator of so much of that tidal wave of statistics, has now told us that their win probability statistic suggests that Campbell's decisions had nothing to do with the outcome of Sunday's game. What? What? It gets reduced to cold, hard numbers. And sports is not a cold, hard numbers jungle. It is impossible to give us a stat that quantifies the unmeasurable, things like momentum. If Detroit had kicked the field goal to go back up 17 points in the middle of the third quarter, how would that have made the Niners feel? Would they have said to themselves, geez, we wanted to come roaring out of the locker room and catch and pass Detroit, but now we're halfway through the third quarter and we've made no gain at all. Hard numbers cannot measure things like this. Did the Detroit failure in some way fuel and excite the 49ers? Did it implant some kind of belief in the 49ers that they could actually come back because now they were still down only 14? I can't tell you that. I can tell you that that's something we can't be certain of. The kind of certainty that win probability suggests is certain. I wish I had a tool that could accurately measure the cost of such a failure as those two Lions fourth down failures. But we don't. We don't. And somebody telling us they have such a formula, I'm sorry, they're BSing us. Sports is played by human beings. They are contests of will. And we will never have any kind of absolutely certain measurement of what happens when one side gets discouraged or the other side gets encouraged, or why sometimes the underdog rallies and sometimes the underdog doesn't rally. That's the beauty of sports. It's the beauty of why we watch, because there is this unknown. And I'm sorry, but certain cold, hard facts suggesting it otherwise, I'm sorry, those don't at all resonate within me.
Today's episode has been brought to you by Fluent Financial, by Oh Hell Roofing, and by Goodness Steak Seasoning.
Just Wondering is a production of DSP Media for FanStream Sports. You can find Norm's show along with other great programming at fanstreamsports.com.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Just Wondering. If you enjoyed it, please hit follow. Then each episode every weekday will be delivered straight to you. And if we might ask one more favor, please share it with friends. I'm Norm Hitzges, and every day I'll be just wondering about something.
And I'm Mary Hitchkus, and I'm just wondering too.